Morning, good morning.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem.
Good morning, how are you?
Me? What? Oh, terrible. Good terrible.
No, I remember.
Maybe. Did you read the thing else this year? What a journey. I gotta get that. You're part of it now. Okay. I brought you right in. When you read this thing? Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah, I'll do it this one. The Rebbe gave me he said if you first of all, I brought it about it. No, I didn't forget it. I mean, I didn't do it today. He gave me some like things. He said, during davening, since this is a little bit more than davening, and first of all, I do it often, but I have to really hold it as if I have to daven so that I can hear my orders. I like davening. And also, but besides that, also just concentrating on the skills. Went down to music. You told me about that. Then, and also when I got into camp, I do a lot of families. So it's different. Had I gone to learning first, I think maybe I would have a little bit better. Because that's another piece. He didn't tell me that part, but prep before that, you can't just make it. You can't walk into that. It's not such a big when he says, when I say Kedusha, I say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. He gave me some language, but yeah, you can use my own language. So told me that it's Kedusha. And then some asked me yesterday, he said, he just put the question out there saying, why would it be that Jews in order to get back to necessarily have to work in the time? And then I said, I responded to him something just like provoking, I wanted to see his answer, but I still put it. I went for a few times. I had a back and forth with him about time. And then I did bring them to the chapter 15. I put them in the deep dive. Put the seat together. I sent it to Rabbi Hussein. It doesn't take long. But it's part of it. Okay, great. In that challenge, beautiful. Shouldn't son be both? Moshe's still here.
Moshe's in Baltimore. Did we finish Kuf Lamed Daled, or we just started? Just started. So, okay, good. I don't remember. Yeah, good. As long as you keep on working, then I'm good. Okay. Pictures. Going out Ruby's birthday.
Page Kuf Lamed Gimel, Ayeka. So I'm going to have to. Unfortunately, I found out there's a Levi this morning, and I'm going to have to leave in like 35 minutes for it. So I apologize. It'll be a little bit abridged. Shir. We shall only have Simchas in this. So let's try to finish this mimer. And let's review the last paragraph we did on page Kuf Lamed Gimel. It's good to review that last paragraph. Just the mashal that's being used to explain the pnimius of what it means, bechira chavshis, and what's unique about the bechira of a Jew. Everybody in the world, all were created with Tzelem Elokim, and many of them Mefarshim define Tzelem Elokim as free choice, being in God's image. And yet there's something that's unique about the Bechira of a Yisrael, of a Jew. And the way that we understand that, as it's revealed to us in the Zohar Kodesh and the Sfar HaKadoshim, is, in the words of Rav Kook, that every single Jew is a nitzayitz echad mishal heves hagadola, that each one of us contains within us a spark of the big fire of the infinite and of the infinite rotzen of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the infinite will of the Creator. And because of that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has not only entrusted us, it's not just a matter of giving us a job, but He has given Himself into us, so that we are able to be shutz from Kivyachal with Him in creation. And let's just review Kuf Lamed Gimel, the bottom of the page. It needs to be repeated, of course, over and over, that this doesn't mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu left work and it's just us, chas v'shalom. That not allowed to think such a thing. That's not what it is. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not the one behind and the one who's giving life to all existence. Everything's Hashem. Before Am Yisrael, before this shlichus of Am Yisrael and Kabbalah Torah and so on, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mechaya everything by himself. And after Matan Torah, we became his partners, Kivyachal, his shutfim. And the mashal that we were learning at the end last week is kamoshal zerem hachashmal. It's like the electricity. Shechevras hachashmal mamshiches hazerem ad la'aron hachashmal habeiti. That the electric company is the source of the electricity, but then in each individual home and each individual place, there are the circuits and the fuses of that house, and all of the plugs and so on of that particular house. And the electric company has given each person who owns that house or is renting that place, that apartment, whatever it is, or that building, each one has the achrayis to conduct that powerful current that's coming from the company, to conduct it in your own, to choose how to conduct the electricity in your house. How to use that powerful, just as a marshal, infinite, it's not infinite, the electricity, but to use that powerful or of the electric company, how to use that in your house. And you make those choices, which lights you turn on, which appliances you use. That's you have in your house. You have the Arona Chashmal, you have the cabinet with all the fuses, with electricity, with all the switches, and that's up to you. And it's man's choice, it's the person's choice, how to conduct that electricity to every room of the house. Marshal, of course, is only a marshal, but the Nimshal of Hashem Yisbarach is the Makar HaChaim. Kimcha, Makar HaChaim, or all light comes from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. All of that or is from Hashem, and Hakadosh Baruch Hu gave it to each and every one of us the ability to turn switches on and off. To bring the Ratzon of Hashem into the world, into all of creation, to bring the Ratzon of Hashem. Ritzoneinu kumay tzinar hashutav hashoitev or hashutav b'amshachas hamayim. Our Ratzon, each and every one of us, our individual bechira, is to be that pipe, that wire or that pipe that draws the water to where we want it to go. Sina zamoluchas hamayim. This pipe brings the water, and will be mashpia to where this water is going to go. And how strong the current is going to be. It's up to the person. Whether you use the marshal of electricity or use the marshal of the water, it's up to the person how much, where to send it, and so on. One can direct the water to wherever you want. And you also have the choice to shut the faucet, to close the electricity, to shut the water, so that the water won't reach anywhere. The person has the choice to do that as well. Next page. And that is what we find in this farm, that Ratzon, the word Ratzon, will, choice, and will, Oisias Tzinor. The same letters as the word Tzinor. Tzinor meaning a pipe, a hose, a pipe. Yisrael Shutfim Lam Shachas Ratzon Hashem Ba'olam. The Jewish people and each and every individual Jew is that Tzinor, to bring the Ratzon of Hashem into the world. And Hashem Yisrael gave each and every one of us the choice how to use that Tzinor. Kamo HaTzinor. Yesh La'am Yisrael Shutfus Hein Al Etzem Hafaz HaRatzon Al Kibbeh Mitzias. A person can decide to turn it off, to close it. The water is coming from the source of water. The water is coming from the reservoir, wherever it's coming from, the place, the plant. All the water is there. But you could have a hose and you have the thing attached at the end of the hose to spritz, and you could just press a little thing on the spritzer, and the water is there. The water is coming in. The water is even going from the house into the hose. But you have that little thing at the end, the spritz, and you push the thing, and it doesn't spritz, even though the water is there the whole time. But you're not spritzing. So a person can decide, chas v'chalila, not to spritz Hashem is brought into the world. That's a person's choice. Yes, he says a person has the choice. Yes, the Am Yisrael shutfus hein al etzem hafaz haratzon laki v'hein ala kivun v'ala otzma shelo. Also, where to spritz it and how to spritz it and how strong Just like you have in that little thing on the spritzer, you have a thing that can control how much water comes out, and how strong the current and on the spritzer. It's the same thing. Ratzon Hashem mezgala der haTorah. Now the Ratzon of Hashem is revealed is mezgala through the Torah. That was given to us. We use this powerful current of Hashem's light, which is revealed to us through the Torah. We use that, each person, according to the choices that you and I make in life. How to use that, where to use that, and so on. That light, that water, that electricity. Of course, even though HaKadosh Baruch Hu has partnered with us in bringing His Ratzon into the world, Hashem is not bound or controlled by our decisions. There is an Indian of Tzaddik goes HaKadosh Baruch Hu Makar, but even that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of course, is Kol Yachol, He does whatever He wants. Therefore, even in a situation where a Jew has decided he's done, he's turning it off, and he doesn't want this at all, and he not only does he turn off the little thing on the hose, he goes to the thing on the wall, and he turns off the faucet. He doesn't want it, and if that's not enough, he goes into the house where the thing is, the main, and he turns off the main. HaKadosh Baruch Hu still might trickle something into his life. So he's walking someplace, and all of a sudden something happens. Or there's some Lubavitcher guy stops him or something, and looks like it's still dripping. Something is still there, and in different mysterious ways. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even if a person is determined to turn off the water and to not let anything of his light into the world, into his life and into the world, HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'chazdei mamshich chiyas la'olam l'kaimo be'eres chazdei. Like the Ramak writes in Talmud Dvar that really a person how's it possible for a person to do an aveira? Should be that the hand that wants to turn on a switch on Shabbos, that hand should fall off, it should freeze, it should disappear. So one of the midas of Hashem is that even though you're doing something against His will, He's still mashpia that light into you to give you life. Even though you're using it in the wrong way. You've made a poor choice of how to use your words right now, and you're saying something, God forbid, you're not allowed to say. So that water, that electricity, is still moving, it's still flowing, it's still there, even though you've made the wrong choice of how to use it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is keeping the electricity on, even though you're determined to turn it off. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has His hanhaga with the world and with each person. There are many things that are involved in how Hashem fears the Welt, how He runs our lives and how He runs the world. So it's not Chalila, it's not Hefker. So even though we make all kinds of poor choices, all kinds of things that for whatever reason HaKadosh Baruch Hu has different ways that He does this. But a person, as far as that person's choices are concerned, the choices that he's made, he's decided he's turning it off. He's decided that he's finished. Nevertheless, even though Hashem does intervene and He does involve Himself in ways that are very deep and very mysterious, despite our poor choices, and sometimes the other way, despite our better choices, there's something that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has decided it's not going to go. This is not going to. You're not going to be able to water the plant that day, even though you're saying, well, but otherwise the flowers are going to die. Hashem Baruch knows that the time has come in His plan for that flower to die, even though you're trying. So it could go the other way as well. You're trying very, very hard to keep the electricity and to water to do that good thing in your life and to reveal HaKadosh Baruch Hu in that way in this world, and to bring his light and to water the world with his ratzon, with his light. And it doesn't work. Nevertheless, a person believes that, okay, Akash Baruch Hu, I did what I could. I made a good choice. My choice was to water. My choice was to do what I was supposed to do. I made that choice. The plant didn't grow. So a parent tries his best or her best to raise the child in the right way, to do everything that he or she can, make the choices that you're able to make, to try to raise a child that's Yirei Shamayim. It's very painful to see that the child's not growing. The plant is not growing, even though you're watering it and you're trying and you're doing everything you can, the plant's not growing. You try to figure it out, you do whatever you can, and he said, Akash Baruch Hu runs the world, and there are times that the plant doesn't grow, or God forbid the plant dies. Even though you're ruts and you did what you could. As you turned on the water, you turned on electricity, and the tziner, your rutzon was La'aseh Ritzaynai, was to do Hashem's will. That was your rutzon. And Makara, well, it didn't happen. So a person could Khalil walk away and say, forget it, there's no lazy dying. How could this be? I did everything I could to water the kid and the kid didn't grow. So I'm, could walk away. That's it, I'm done. People do. Emunah means that no, Akash Baruch Hu, you did what you could. And for that, the next world, all the schar of the next world, and how will it come about? What will be with this kid and the child and the grandchildren, all of that? Akash Baruch Hu has an inyan with you, with your family, with this neshama. Your job is to water. So your job is to make sure that you do what you have to do. You keep on watering. And the kid has to make his own choices. And it's this side of how Hashem Yisbarach runs the world, of how this is in each person, with each person's life, according to the shorish of that person's neshama. But our Ratzon is unbelievably powerful. And it doesn't mean that parent should not feel, I failed. It's a terrible thing. And it's very natural to feel, I failed. But it could be you did whatever you could do, and Akash Baruch Hu turned off the water. Akash Baruch Hu didn't let the water reach that plant. And then a person has to say, Asisi shluchascha, I did your shlichus, I tried. So, mani echol aseh. I davened, I cried, I did my best. Didn't work, didn't grow. Because Hashem has an inyan with this neshama of why this neshama has to go through that. And so, mani echol aseh. That's all. That's our job, is to keep the faucet open, to keep the water running, to keep it, to do the best that we can, to bring that or Ratzon Hashem, as we're taught in the Torah, each person, according to what his or her own exposure was and is to Torah Hashem. So the fact that somebody grew up without Torah, without mitzvahs, and now they've discovered that Hashem has brought them to Torah mitzvahs, and the person can say, I started so late, and I'm so limited in my knowledge, and so how much of this how much of this light, this electricity and water can I bring to the world compared to my from birth neighbor or cousins? I'm so limited. The Torah says that's not your power. That's not your inyan. That's not your inyan. Your inyan is to do the best you can with the kelim that you have. And Hashem Yisbarach obviously brought about such a thing that you came in the world in such a way, and that you were raised in that way, and now you're 35, 40, whatever it is, and now you're starting. So you feel, how could I possibly make up for all of the years where I wasn't watering? That's not you make up for the years. That's not your inyan. You take it up with the uman, with the craftsman who made you. That's not your inyan. Your inyan is that right now the water is going, and I have to spritz. That's all. I'm just a spritzer. I have to spritz. That's all. And how could I have not been spritzing for the last 20 years? What happened to me and what was going on? It's not your inyan. Akash Baruch has inyanim. Your inyan right now is to do the best you can. That's all. Of course, the ikar hanhag of Hashem, since He gave us the Torah, He gave us our papers and our instructions and told us go ahead and do what you can. This is an amazing thing, that the Ratzon of Hashem is Mafia Derech Am Yisrael. Derech Am Yisrael. The whole world right now is talking about Am Yisrael. And they always do. Some in an affectionate way, some in a tolerating way, mostly in a way that's filled with hate. But even those who hate us most are getting more and more nervous about the impact that this funny little people have on the entire world. How could it be such a thing? How could it be such a thing? But I don't have to explain to anybody. You know what the Nisim Gluyim and what's happening in the world, and that how it's in the most obvious way that Hashem Yisbarach left up to Am Yisrael to save the rest of the world. It's so stupid. Hashem Yisbarach left up to Am Yisrael to have to make these choices. And everybody's wondering, what is he going to choose? The man in the White House, with the funny guy, the strange guy in the White House. What's his choice? What's his bechir? What's his what's? The Ratzon of Hashem is going to be accomplished. It should be without any Jew getting scratched. But the Ratzon of Hashem is going to be accomplished. It's just the beginning of this is just a little bit of a preview of what's coming up. But the whole world is the whole world is Jews. Am Yisrael. Israel. What they have with Israel? Every single day on their mouths and their programs. Israel. Am Yisrael. The Jewish people. But one doesn't have to see all of the theatrics. This is a big thing. But even before this, everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu made in such a way that the Ratzon of Hashem is Mafia Ba'olam Derech Am Yisrael. The Ratzon of Hashem comes into the world Derech Am Yisrael. Everything that's happened in history is Derech Am Yisrael. Everybody that's a real student of history knows that everything that has happened in the world is Derech Am Yisrael. Derech Am Yisrael. Sometimes it's more obvious, sometimes it's less obvious. But everything is Derech Am Yisrael. The Ratzon of Hashem is Derech Am Yisrael. Mikorach es Kashus Shel Ritzonim Chiburo, the Ratzon Hashem. It comes from the korach of our uplifting and sanctifying our own choices and our own will, and aligning our will with the Ratzon of Hashem, which is what the next parak is about. Aseh Ritzoincha Ritzoinik Ritzoincha. Imkain, page Kuf Lamed Hey. Rav Kook Melamed. So Rav Kook is teaching us with that piece that we learned earlier. Rav Kook Melamed Shaharotzon Ha'atzmi Shel Am Yisrael B'Yisadu Shviv Mi'Ratzon Hashem. So Rav Kook was saying that the Ratzon of the Jewish people and of every individual Jew is a spark of that big shalheves, of that big fire that's called Ratzon Hashem. It's a spark of that. That's b'chlal not what it means when somebody who's not Jewish is making a choice for good or for evil. That's a separate, local Indian as part of Hashem's plan. But in terms of being at the switchboard, that's not something that's part of the wiring of the Umas Olam of the nations of the world. Zeu Sharish HaRatzon Shel Yisrael is the root of the Ratzon of the Jewish people and of each Jew. Va'atzmuso ha'amitis, is the true essence of a Jew, is Ratzon Hashem. Is that he is the container of that shviv, of that spark, of Elokus. Lachein, therefore, hateva ha'amiti shel ritzoneinu hu Ratzon Hashem mamish. Therefore, the natural Ratzon of a Jew is to do Hashem's Ratzon, since that's where our Ratzon comes from. So the natural Ratzon of a Jew is to do the Ratzon Hashem. So what happens if you feel you want to do something that's not what Hashem wants? It's just a distortion. It's a distortion, and it's being distant and feeling detached and separating yourself from the true, from the Ratzon HaMakari Ha'atzmi Shalom, from the true Ratzon that you have. It's just separating yourself. It's doing your best to shut the faucet, to somehow close yourself off from that Ratzon which is inside of you. Therefore, our avodah is to repair the pipes, the faucets, and so on. The sakin is to fix oneself, and to realign your own personal ratzon with the ratzon of Hashem as it's taught to us in the Torah. To realign, to reconnect. It's there inside of you. That's the true ratzon. And therefore you can't truly find happiness and pnimius if you're detached from that. You can't, because that's the source of your life. So you could try as hard as you can to find something else that will give you satisfaction, chiyus, but you can't. Because that's the makar hamiti. Because that's the true makar of who you are. Lo shuv al shorasha. To return to the root of who you are. Kamo anaf, like a branch. That becomes reconnected to the root from where it comes, from where it grows. And that's what it means to do tshuva, to return. Zeh omek ma'ameh chazal, and that is the deeper meaning of the Mishnah in Perkei Avos. Asay ritzono ki ritzoncha. Do your best to make Hashem's will your will. Because that's the reality. The reality is Hashem's will is our will, but there could be things in the way. According to what we're learning, we understand that Hashem's will and our will are not two different things, that by chance or something that you had some idea and you made some sort of a chiddush that you decided to do Hashem's will. No, the Metzias is that our will is Hashem's will. It's the same thing. That's the Metzias. They're not two different wills. It's the same thing. They're not Shnei Ritzon Zorim v'Nefradim and Nefgashim Zem Zeh that are introduced one to the other. It's brought down in this from Rosh Hashanah, and other tzaddikim say that sometimes you meet a person and you know the person for 5 minutes, but you feel like you know this person your whole life, right? Like, it's like somebody that I know my whole life. So that's because you do. Because that person's in the sharish of your neshama. You have a connection to that person, the sharish on the neshama, in a very, all Jews are connected, but it's closer to the anaf, to the branch. And that's why when you meet the person, it's just like, oh, we're just picking up on a conversation we had some other time, I don't know when, 750 years ago, but I'm picking up on some conversation that we were in the middle of. So it's Allah has come with the Baruch, with the Creator. When a Jew comes back, the feeling is, oh, this is always what it was. I just didn't realize, I didn't understand, I didn't know, but this has always been here. It's not something different. It's not two different people meeting. Baruch Hu, see, in the wedding invitations, around 50, 60 years ago, they started to come up with an apikosah nusach. For some of you might have had on your invitations, not your fault, but you might have had on your invitation, the romantic words, in bechiras libo. You know what I'm talking about? It says the name of the chassan, the same as the name of the kala, and then it says in bechiras, with the choice of your heart. It's very romantic. That's not what Jewish invitations have ever said, and nor are they allowed to say that. It's supposed to say Ayin Beis Gimel. And what does that stand for, Ayin Beis Gimel? It's on all the invitations. It means in Bas Gilo. Bas Gilo means the one who was chosen for you. It means the one who was created for you. Not Bechiras Liba. It's very sweet, Bechiras Liba. Okay. Choice of my heart. If it was up to your heart, you'd be in Gehakt Tzaros. It's not up to your heart. It's in Bas Gilo, and even then it's not so posh. In Bas Gilo. But Bas Gilo means the one who is for you. That's what we hope for. That's what on the invitation. That's what we're davening for. It doesn't always work. Because as I said before, sometimes you water, you try, it's gay, it doesn't go. But in Bas Gilo means it's not Bechiras Libo. You make sure that when you make weddings for your children and grandchildren, you make sure that nobody puts that apikarsis onto it. It's apikarsis. The words in Bechiras Libo is kfir and apikarsis. Watch it. I don't like to use those words, but it's plain apikarsis. It's in Bas Gilo, not Bechiras Libo. What's on Kadosh Baruch Hu? What's on them einem kishnei ritzonis shel shnei anoshim nefradim shebimikra yeshna matorah achas mishutefes. The Ratzon of Hashem and the Ratzon and our Ratzon is not some two different ritzonis that b'mikra, it just worked out. It was a coincidence. It happened. No, that these two ritzonis somehow met each other, strangers in the night. They met each other. This is not some mikra that happened like this. It's a mikra. That we have some sort of a thing in common, and because of this in common, we're now going to work together on this project. That's not what it means a Jew. That's not the choice of a Jew. That's not the free. That's not the Indian that we have with Hashem is not like that at all. We have something in common. Let's be shutfim. That's called b'chiras liba. The same thing with Hashem. We thank Hashem on Hashem's invitation to us. It says b'chiras liba. It's Bas Gila. Hashem says, you and I, we're in this together. It's not B'chiras Libi. I made a choice for Hashem. Hashem chose me. And I was chosen for this. And we're not two separate, and that if I decide yes, then it's yes, and if I decide no, then it's no. That's very romantic, but that's not the Metzias. Kish Adam right says, what's Hashem? When a person makes the choice to connect to Ratzon Hashem, it means he's just reconnecting to that which was the Makar Hamiti, which is his true Makar. That's where it comes from. That's who he is. Niksha b'shorosh Makar. The same thing with Chas and Kala. Yesh kan chibur shel anaf al hasheres. This is the chibur of a branch to its root. Whereas it k'mo yad b'yachas l'moach. It's like the relationship between the hand and the brain. She'en guf nifrad shemeshatif pulim hamoach. What, the hand and the brain, they had this conversation. You want to work together? The brain says, I'd like to go pick apples today, and the hand says, no, I'm not so sure. I don't know. I'm thinking about strawberries, maybe. This is an inning that goes on between the brain and the hand. That these are two separate ritzinos. The hand and the brain are two separate ritzinos. The hand is bottled to the brain. The brain is saying to the hand, sometimes the hand loyal doesn't work. But the job of the hand is to do what it's supposed to do. But the brain tells it. With this way of understanding, a person becomes, and he asks Hashem, help me to become just a tzina, to be a pipe, to be a tzina, a shayfer for your ratzon, and to bring into the world. To be a hand. Hashem's the brain. I want to be a faithful and loyal hand. You think that because you could do something that Hashem said for you not to do, so you think that it's your ratzon. It's not. Mitoch zer, haratzon al ki over darkom is gal al yada. An example: we want the Beis Hamikdash to be built. And Hashem wants the Beis Hamikdash to be built. Fine, we all agree. We want the Beis Hamikdash to be built. You might think that he wants it, I want, and that maybe one day these two ritzanos will come together and it'll work out. The ratzon that you and I have for the Beis Hamikdash and the ratzon HaKadosh Baruch has for the Beis Hamikdash is the same ratzon. That ratzon of Hashem that there should be a Beis Hamikdash, Machus Beis David, and there should be Nevuah in the world. When you and I want that, we feel that, it's just the ratzon of Hashem that is mafia, that is now felt inside of us, but it's the ratzon of Hashem. It's the same ratzon. The deeper level, the ratzon of Hashem is sitting there inside a Jew. And this is the secret, the deeper understanding of the Medrash. Hashem is called the heart of the Jewish people. Liban She Yisrael. Geshe'onu roitzim she'yibana beis hamikdash perish hadavar shakadosh baruch hu roitzes b'nei beis hamikdash darkeinu. When I feel that I want the Beis HaMikdash to be built, I'm just feeling Hashem's Ratzon, who wants the Beis HaMikdash to be built. It doesn't mean that Hashem's Ratzon is not always there. I'm just feeling it right now. It's the same Ratzon. It's not, I came up with this idea, Hashem doesn't want the Beis HaMikdash, I do. He does want it, I don't. There's no such thing like that. And from there comes an unbelievable longing for Yerushalayim, that even people are not religious, they're fixated on Yerushalayim. Where's it come such an Indian? This Ratzon for Yerushalayim, where's it come from? It comes from the infinite Ratzon of Kivyachal himself. It's a Ratzon Elokei, a Ratzon Amok. The Tat Karkai means it's deep and it's beneath the surface. It's underground. It reaches it comes from the shorish of who we are, the essence of who a Jew is. There's no such thing like this by the Mishpachos Adama, by the nations of the world. There's no Indian like this. Chazak v'adir b'atzmos, and it's very powerful. Nothing can stop it. Because when that Jew connects to the Ratzon Hashem and those two meet, there's nothing that can stop it. If Hashem wills it, and my Ratzon and Hashem's Ratzon are aligned, there's nothing that can get in the way, and that's why Bez Hashem are going to see a big nitzach in the Or Mashiach. Amen. Shabbos.